in our mountain pose. So grounding the feet firmly to the floor, slightly cupping the floor with your toes from there. So we're just gonna lay down those toes one at a time. And again, just very lightly gripping the floor. We're gonna lift up with the kneecaps, lifting up through the waist and making yourself just as tall as you can. We're gonna bring those hands in, roll the shoulder blades back, and again, lifting up, bring those hands into prayer. And we're just gonna focus on the breath from here. So again, taking a nice big breath in, you're gonna feel the throat, the chest, and the belly. And as you exhale out, you're gonna clear that back out. Just trying to make that as complete of a breath as you can. So fill as full as you can and empty out as full as you can. You can close your eyes and just relax. Just kind of taking an inventory of where you're at for the moment. So notice if you have any tight spots that you'd like to work through from here. And as you breathe into that, let the heat come into the body. As you exhale, see if you can soften those areas that are tight, just a little bit. We're going to begin to move from here. So we're going to go ahead and take a breath up. We're going to reach the hands all the way up overhead. We're going to exhale, pulling them out, and let the hands just float down on top of the breath. We're going to do 3 more of those, and you don't need to be on my count. Take that at your own pace, but try and make, again, a full, complete breath. Inhaling as we reach up, exhaling, and trying to make that an even breath. So however many counts it takes you to breathe in, we want to try and take that time to breathe out as well. Nice big inhale up. And relax. And let's go one more time. Now, while we're up this time, we're going to grasp onto one wrist and we're going to stretch really high for the sky. Then we're going to exhale and just tilt off to the side here. So we're reaching across diagonally. We're not reaching towards the opposite side, but we're reaching diagonally, trying to create as much space in the side as we can. We'll exhale and bring that back into center from here. And again, another nice big breath comes up. We're going to stretch this hand as high as we can make it, pulling up and out of that waist, and then we're just going to shift off to the side from here. Again, rotating that shoulder back. So we've got a nice straight line. Now kind of a flexed one, right? And exhale back to center. We're going to do that one more time on each side. So just a gentle breath up. And stretch up. Just come off to the side. This time we're going to let one hand come back down, reaching down towards the knee. We can look up towards the ceiling. And we'll let that arm float down. Good. Nice breath up here. We'll go ahead and let this come down to the side as we stretch and reach high. And then I'm going to exhale and relax from here. So as we bring that down, we're just going to let those hands slide around. Good. Coming back into the center from here, we're going to do a piece of this standing Pilates. So we're going to bring the hands out, again, bracing and standing tall. So we are maintaining that posture all the way through. Relax those shoulders back and down. We're going to rotate, leading with the shoulders. The hands are just coming along for the ride. So we're going to come back and we're going to pulse twice. We reset in the center, and we'll go back and we'll pulse twice. Now we're trying to keep those feet firmly on the ground. Set from here. And back into center. Let's go a couple more. On each side, of course. Bring that back to center. Let's go ahead and just relax this down. And from here, let's take the hands onto the hips. So we're going to shift the hips off to one side. We're going to take them off to the other. So you're kind of pressing out into the outside of that foot. Bend back the other direction. And back from here. We're going to come into center from here. We're just going to shift those hips back. You can slide those hands right down the legs. Take that as far forward as you are comfortable with. It doesn't need to be really far. And then when you come back up, you're going to place the hands on the small of the back. And we're just going to push forward with the hips, but we want to tighten up the glutes so we support that. Lift that chin towards the ceiling. And then let's exhale, coming forward again. Nice, easy reach. You can take that as far down as you're comfortable with. Easy breath comes back up. Roll those shoulders back. Tighten up the glutes. Put your hands in the back and relax back. Now coming out of that, I'm going to place the hands under the hips from here, and we're just going to circle around. Nice big circles from here. So take your time with that. We're trying to move around underneath the shoulders. So we're actually making those abs work, right? From here, we're not just pushing up out of the feet, but you should feel those feet gripping into the floor as you move through there. We're going to reverse direction, coming the other way. So again, standing nice and tall and just moving out underneath that and feeling the muscles in the feet actually working from here. So let's go just two more like this. Good, good. And we're going to come back into center. We're going to focus a little bit just on the balance. So again, gripping the floor from here, we're just going to shift ourselves side to side, just a little bit, not a whole lot. So think of like the wind, just blowing you side to side a little bit from here. So you're shifting the weight from one foot to the other, not coming all the way off of it, just kind of shifting. And then from there, we're going to shift forward and back just a little bit. Again, think of yourself just kind of getting blown by the wind. A little bit both directions. And then from here, again, we're going to kind of circle. So this makes you almost kind of feel like you had a little too much to drink sometimes, right? So we're trying to stay steady, but we're using the feet, using the core, making sure that we are nice and strong through the center there and standing as tall as we can so that we can maintain that balance. And then we're going to reverse and go the other way. So this is a very small movement. It's nothing big and impressive. It may help you very much to keep your gaze just nice and steady in one spot. And breathe. Okay, then we're going to come into center from here. Let's draw the breath in. Nice big breath in. As we exhale, go ahead and push that up and away. And exhale and let the hands float down. We're going to take that breath back in again. We're going to do a couple more of those. Easy breath comes in. Reach. We're going to flip those hands over and push up. Come back and down. Let's go one more just like that. Channel breath in. Fill those lungs. Exhale as we reach up and let it spread all out. And back to center there. Good. So then we're going to begin to shift side to side from here. So moving the hands, just gently like you're pushing something away. And we shift the weight from one leg to the other. And the slower you can do this, the better. You want to connect it with your breath, just like we do every other thing. And from here. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to take it to one side and we're going to take 4 steps off this direction. So we're going to shift the weight over. We're going to circle the hands through and step, unloading the leg. Let's unload the other. And one more time. I'm going to take a baby step. Come around to the side and we're going to reset. Coming back from here. Again, just let that foot slide in nice and easy. We don't move until we're set, right? So we've got that foot out. We're going to slide that across. Make sure you're steady and stable as you move across. Now you can lift that foot or you can just let it graze the floor. We're going to come back again. Coming through. Standing tall again, so we don't want to tilt forward. You can keep your eyes either straight forward or you can keep your gaze on your hands. One more time, coming back. And of course, take this at your own pace. Reaching up through here, coming through, and again. And our last one. Now from here, we're just going to reach this back and we're going to push. So we're going to step forward. We're going to bring that back, push it back the other direction. Gently from here. So you're forward about a 45 degree, maybe not quite that big. We want to relax those shoulders and take your time as you exhale, press that away. Take a nice big inhale, draw that back. And one more time with us. From here, as we come back, this time we're going to change it. We're actually going to push forward. So we'll shift that out. We're going to push that direction out. We're going to let those hands come down, and we will draw back in. Again, shifting the weight as we push this forward. Nice, strong. Let the hands come down, draw back up, and exhale and press. Let this back in. All right. Now this time, we're just going to go ahead and stay high. We're going to draw this back, pulling up. When we push, we're going to push down. So we come down from here. Nice pull up as we draw back. And again, exhaling forward. Nice, smooth, easy breaths. Let this flow. And let's go one more time. And then from here, we're going to bring that back foot in. We're just going to start side to side again. Nice, gentle movement here. And good, it's just a weight shift, right? A couple more. Our last one here. We're going to go ahead and bring this back. As we come to the side, we're going to go ahead and step forward from here. Reaching that out. Again, we're still pressing. We're going to draw that back in. So you have press sideways first, right? Stay here. Go ahead, coming through here. Side to side. All right, now this time we'll go ahead with that push. So we're going to take it nice and high. We're going to push it straight out. Both hands push that away. Let those come down. Draw that back in. Big breath in. Exhale and press. Floating nice and easy. That back. Just take your time with this. Play with it a little. Last one like this. This one we're going to pull back high, like we were before. So coming back, up. Now this time we push down. We'll let it float up with the breath, right? Coming back through here. And we exhale. And again, please take this at your own time and move it with your breath. Do not need it all to be on my count. We're going to do one more just like that. And then we're just going to bring this back, let that come in, side to side just a bit. We're going to bring this into center. Nice breath in. And exhale to press that down. So we're softening the legs, lifting from here. And exhale. Okay, so from here, we should have a pretty good spot with our balance, have a good idea of where we are in space. So we're going to start to work just a little bit into our balance here. So what I want you to do is take this foot, make this leg nice and firm, but don't lock the knee. And again, grip the floor with your feet. We're going to let this leg come back up. Now, if you're not comfortable taking it off the floor, you can always stay on the floor and just move side to side. If you are hanging on with something, just make sure that it's close to you so you don't have to reach out for it, but keep it close. We're going to go ahead and draw in the tummy here. Roll those shoulders back, stand tall. Really nice posture. We're going to lift this leg up. We can roll that ankle around. So take your time. We're going to reverse that direction from there, going the other way. And then we're going to work into the hip joint. So we're just going to let this foot come across and back. And again, that can be on the floor, right? All we're doing here is moving that femur up into the hip joint. Let that ball and socket. Okay, now we're going to hold, keeping the knee right where it's at. We're going to extend the foot out. We're going to flex the foot as we bring that back. Point the toe coming forward and flex the foot coming back. It does not need to be high. We're looking for the balance, right? Working through that knee joint. Hold here. Now we're going to stay right in the center and we're going to stir. So stir in that pot, right? And then we're going to reverse, coming back the other direction. So our goal is to not drop the knee as we do that, but you can, of course, make those circles on the ground. We're going to go ahead and sit that down, that foot slightly in front of the other one. We're going to roll that onto that ankle. And then again, just like you're fingerprinting your toes, you're going to roll to the inside. So pressing those toes down one at a time as you roll that back out. Be careful not to go too far. Coming back inside from here, same thing, but touch each and every toe as you go down. We're going to do one last time here. And then roll that back inside. And then we'll just take it back to neutral. Here we're just going to bounce the toes. So up and down. We're not trying so much to bounce the foot, but the toes, specifically the toes. Then we're going to hold them up. We're going to spread them out nice and wide. I always have to do everything with my hands, the same thing as I do with my legs. So press those down. Again, gently cupping the floor. Now let's scrunch them in like you're picking up a sock. Exhale and let those go. Coming back in from there. Scrunch that in. And press it out. We have one more time here. Scrunch that in. And release that. Okay, letting this come back and down. We're going to go ahead and we are going to draw that foot back in. And let's get our balance on that foot. So again, gripping the floor with that. We're going to stand tall. So we want to maintain our balance through this whole thing, right? We're going to lift this leg up. We're going to roll that ankle around. Let's reverse directions from the other way. And then we're going to flex and point. And then holding this knee right where it's at, we're going to extend, point the toe, flex as we move that back. So kind of thinking of trying to bring that heel up towards your fanny with your knee out in front of you. High knee run, right? Okay, we're going to do one more of those. And then we're just going to hold right here. And we're going to stir that foot. Let's reverse here. And then we're going to move in and out. So you should actually feel that bone moving right up inside that hip joint. Let's go two more. And then we're going to set that foot down slightly in front of the other. And again, we're going to bounce those toes. Let's just start with that. Bounce the toes first. And then from here, we're again going to start with that little fingerprinting. So it's a toe print, right? Roll onto the outside of the foot. Then I'm going to roll back inside, touching the toes, each and every one each time. Just try and lay them down one at a time if you can, or at least feel it as you roll across that. Coming back from here, same thing. And rolling back again. Coming back inside, we have one more to do here. So very gently, just laying those toes down and coming back into center. Now here, just slightly cup the floor. You should feel the arch of the foot raise up a little bit from there. Then we're going to use those toes and we're going to scrunch them back and pull them out like we're lifting up a sock. We're going to let it go, spread the toes out nice and wide. Coming back in, we scrunch that back up, let it go, and lay the toes down. You You can do it on one or both feet at the same time if you wish. Lift that up and then just lay that back down. And again, let's draw this back in. We're just going to slightly cup the floor. Let's take a breath in. You're going to sit back from here. So letting those hands come back, drive those hips back, keep the chest lifted, and come all the way out. So from the side, we're sitting back, but keep that chest tall. Squeeze the rear end as you stand back up. Now, if you wish, you can add a little bit of a back bend with this. So as you come up, squeeze the booty and come into just a very gentle reach back. And let's go 2 more like that. And our last one. Now we're going to come down in the center here. Bring those hands together. I'm going to hold right here. So in that squat position, again, make sure that our abs are braced. We're just going to lift one heel up. And we're going to set that down. We're going to lift the heel up and sit back. So we're trying to do that. We're just alternating the sides without anything else moving, right? We're just lifting that heel up. Nothing else is going anywhere. Now, if you're not comfortable in the squat, do this from a standing position. It's okay. Then we're going to see if we can lift both of them up. So press those hands together. Give yourself a little help. We're going to see if we can lift them both off the floor. And then slowly lower them down. Lift back onto your toes. Doesn't have to be huge, right? And then slowly lower down. And you can still do this one at a time if you prefer. One more time. Lifting up on those toes. Use the toes, right? Or dance around and prance around like I am. Slowly lower those down and reach back up from here. Big breath here. And let that go. All right. So our next piece on here is going to work just this through the hip again. We're going to turn one foot out slightly. And we're just going to take this knee up and around. So we're going to rotate through. You can touch that down and reset each time, or you can hold up. Again, we're looking for really nice, strong posture for this. So we're going to stand up tall. And again, being firm through the midsection. Let's go one more this direction. And then we're going to reverse and come the other way. Coming back, crossing the midline. And again, if you need to hang on to something, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure it's close to you. So you don't have to lean way out to get it, right? Let's go 2 more. And the last one here. Now we're going to set that down. And what we are going to do is we're going to turn this toe out slightly. We're going to start shifting that way to the front from here. So we're going to set this down and let's start with the start. So we're going to shift on, and if we can, we're going to lift that back leg up. We're going to hold in position from here. We're going to let that toe come down and squeeze back up. Now this is purely optional, obviously. Squeeze and squeeze. We're going to do 2 more. And let that go. Good. Bringing this back and down. We're going to come to the other side, and if you're okay with this, there's a couple of different options that you're going to have. So we can just shift the weight to the front, and you can stay right there as we come through here, and just bring those arms forward and back. And if you're okay with that, that's where I want you to stay, but I want you to stay with fairly nice posture. If you want to come a little farther than that, you're going to lean forward, bringing that leg off the floor. And again, sweeping those arms. Now, if you want to go further yet, you're going to come down into your warrior 3 and pull this back. So nice big reach out. We're going to take those hands back. Squeezing those shoulder blades back as we come back. And we have just one more time. So nice length out from the top of the head all the way out through the toe. And then we're going to bring this back and down. Back to the middle here. Big breath up. And let's sweep this down again. This is kind of our reset, right? And one more time. Relax and let that come down. Good, good. All right, so on this side, we're again gonna start off with those circles around. So again, this can be really big. If you're not comfortable at all bringing that foot off the floor, this works, right? It's gonna get you in kind of the same zone as you start off with. Otherwise, you're gonna have that foot off at a slight diagonal. Coming back to center from here, and we're gonna open out. So we're just trying to cross the midline, open outside there, and then we're gonna reverse. So let's go back. Bring it back, same thing, same move. Just drawing that big circle and keeping that posture long, right? And not fall down. Okay, let's go one more time here. Letting that come back and down. And then again, we're gonna switch our position here. So again, we're just gonna step that forward a little bit and we're gonna shift our weight over. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with the hands. We're gonna lift this leg up, holding into your start pose. Bracing the tummy. We're gonna let this come down and lift. And by all means, if you need to grab onto something, that's fine. And if you just wanna hold and not lift the legs up, that's fine too, right? Let's go 4 more. And 3. Here's 2. And our last one there. Go ahead and bring that back into play. So then we're going to turn around to the side here. So we've got a long angle, which you don't have to turn around. You can just make your legs straight. But as we come into this position, we're going to, again, either kind of kickstand back from here, and we'll sweep. Nice and long. Squeeze those shoulder blades back. So all we're doing is rounding and reaching the upper back, squeezing those shoulder blades back. Now, if you're okay with that, you can tilt forward just a little bit, but make sure that that tilt is at the hip and not in the small of your back. Now, if you're okay with that, we're going to come from here. And again, just squeeze those shoulders back. Release, create lots of space up through the side here. And try and connect that with your breath. Nice big inhale as you open. Exhale when we close it up. We're going to do one more time here. Big reach up. And exhale. Bring that back into center. Let's start with the breath up. And let this out. So this time we're going to take our feet a little farther than hip width. We're going to start with the straddle stretch first. I'm going to get us to the ground really quickly. So from here, we've got the legs out and we're going to come into a forward fold. So again, if you're not comfortable with that, you can actually just place the hands on the legs and just come forward and lift up. So it doesn't need to be super, super big unless you're okay with it. And if you're all right with it, we're just going to drive the hips back. So take a breath in here. And as we exhale, we push those hips back, keep the length through the spine. We're going to come down towards the ground. Just relax that upper body down. You can use your abs to press yourself closer to your knees. You can also press into the floor if you choose. Or if you've got a chair, footstool, whatever you want to put your hands on there, table. Then we're going to walk over to one side, just without coming up, just bring the chest towards the thigh. Keeping that length. Relax, we're going to walk it over to the other side. Let's come back into the middle from here. Nice gentle breath up. And again, we'll let that come down. So take your time coming up. We're going to start here. We're going to walk ourselves out, and we're going to walk out so that we can face down onto the floor. We're going to work a little bit on the back of the spine, and then we're going to roll over and reduce and work with the abs and the behind. So from here, again, we'll take that breath up. We're going to walk ourselves out very gently. So if you're not comfortable with this, come to the floor any old way you like. We're going to walk ourselves out into that plank. So again, this can be on your knees, can be on your toes. So if you're not comfortable coming up onto it on your knees, right here is just fine. You can also be in this position if you're not quite comfortable with that, but just make sure that the arms are directly underneath the shoulders. So we're gonna come, if you're in your plank position, right here, we're just holding whichever version you have of it. Spread the weight out through the fingertips and all the way out through the palms. Squeeze the legs, make them nice and tight. And then we're just gonna drop those knees down. Let's go ahead and come down to the ground. Let's go all the way down. And from here, we're gonna start off with the hands at our sides and we're gonna turn the chi. So what we'll do is we're gonna do the upper body first. So we're gonna let the legs lay down or stay down on the ground. We'll take that nice big breath and we're gonna lift up and we're gonna pull those shoulder blades back. So keep lots of length through the spine. We're gonna go ahead and change that, just turn the other cheek. And go ahead and go with that. I'm gonna adjust my camera down just a hair. So again, with this breath, you're gonna lift up just a little bit. Squeezing those shoulder blades back and pulling back towards the back wall. And then you relax and again, turn the other cheek. And a nice breath up. Pull those shoulders back, reaching towards the back wall. So one of the first things that we want to do is actually lift the belly button up. So before we come up, we're going to pull that belly button up towards the spine and exhale back here. Do the last one here. And we'll relax. We're going to take the hands in front of us here and we're going to relax the forehead on it. So what we're going to do first, the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to pull the belly off the floor. So as we do that, we just lift up, squeeze, pulling the stomach up. You can actually, I can't talk and do it at the same time or you can't hear me. Put your forehead down onto the floor. You're not going to press down so hard, but you're trying to scoop up and hollow out. So just lifting that stomach up off the floor. Breathing in, lift up as high as you can. And then exhale and just relax that down. Guess you can't see it here anyway, I need a light. So if you can, ideally you're gonna go all the way down to your pubic bone and have everything lifted up off the floor, and that's great if you can do that. If not, just draw in and up, right? We're gonna do one more time. And then from here, we're gonna lift those legs up and lay those back down. So again, keeping your forehead down onto your hands, we're just gonna squeeze those legs up by squeezing the rear end, and we're looking for length. So think of pulling those towards that back wall, but try to get the knees off the floor if we can. And if you're not comfortable doing both legs at a time, just do one at a time. We're gonna do 4 more here. Okay, then we're gonna put the two together. So we're gonna do the upper body and the lower body. We're gonna start with the hands reaching back, just like we did. The cheek on the floor. And you can stay with this all the way through if you want, or you'll be able to reach the hands forward and we'll do an actual Superman. So what we'll do from here is we're gonna draw that belly up, take a nice breath in, pull everything back, squeezing those shoulder blades back, relax down and turn the other cheek. So we want to be careful here because we don't just want to flop down onto the floor. We resist as we come back down so everything is smooth. Moving with our breath. The inhale as we come back up and reach, create that long length. Exhale as we gently come back down and place everything back on the floor. Now, if you wish, on our next one, you can bring the hands back to the front from here, let those come down. And as we inhale and come up, you can do one or both at the same time. So if you want, you can take just the front arm and the back leg, lift those up, and then take the back arm and the front leg and lift that up. Or again, you can do both. We're going to take them for 4 more of whatever version you want. All right, then we're going to press this back onto the knees. We're going to shoot those hips back and come into the child's pose. So you can just bring that forehead down towards the floor. And if you're not okay to sit on your knees, that's fine too. Just you can stay into the down dog position from there. So instead of being on your knees, you just come back on your toes. Whichever feels best to you today. Now we're coming back onto the floor. So again, if you're not comfortable being on the floor on your knees, if you've got a tabletop that you can be on, you can do this standing or chair, something where you can just put it. We just want to be in kind of a squared off position from here. So we're going to take both hands underneath the shoulders. The knees are directly underneath the hips. We're going to curl those toes back, and we're just going to lift ourselves off the floor. Just a tiny, tiny bit. You probably can't even see that. So from here, I'm coming up off the floor, just barely. Holding that position, again, spreading out through that entire palm, and I'm going to come back and down. Squeezing and coming back up from here. And the last piece. Keeping those arms long. Okay, and I'm moving over here. So we're going to work into the wrist for just a second. We're going to go ahead and shift our weight forward and then coming back. So again, if that's a bit much for you, even on a tabletop or a chair, you can always put your hands on the wall. A little bit lower than your shoulder and pushing in and out there, because all we're looking to do is stretch into that wrist. So we need to keep the arms long. Then we're going to take the hands and we're going to turn the hands out. So you don't have to turn around. I'm just turning so you can see what I'm doing. We're going to shift again, side to side. After I broke my wrist, I wasn't sure I'd ever be able to do this again. So I'm kind of happy. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take one hand with the palm up. The other hand is going to turn to the side. So you'll have it from this position right here. Again, the arms are staying directly underneath you. Your palms are there. You're going to lean forward, and then you're going to come back just a little bit. So that coming back is where you're going to feel that right on the forearm. And again, you'll feel that through your wrist, however that's going to flex. Don't take it until it's excruciatingly painful. Take it to where you feel the tension, but it shouldn't be like, oh my God, that hurts. And then shift forward again. We're going to hold that back one more time. And then again, you can kind of roll your weight just a little bit side to side on that. And then relax. So we're going to change hands. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we'll go ahead and bring the other one palm up, and we're going to come forward for you. You can always do that with both arms at the same time if you like. For myself, that's just too much. And we'll rock back from there. So that's just a personal preference, whatever you want to do with that. And again, we're going to shift side to side here, just a tiny bit if you're okay with that. And then letting that come back into place. So now we're going to work up into the shoulders. We're going to work our cat and cow first, and we'll do the spine first, right? So let's come in from here, tucking in the chin, rolling up, and blowing all the air out, pulling up with the belly, rise those shoulders up. And a nice big breath out, just like a big old hissing cat. And again, exhale, tuck that all up and under. We're going to do 2 more just like this. Take your time with it. Really, really widen that shoulder out. Slightly tucking the pelvis. Lift those collarbones to the ceiling. Again, the arms and the legs stay right where they're at. All the work through here is in our spine. And then we're gonna relax. So from here, we're gonna take the shoulders and we're gonna probably be able to show you a little easier from the front. From here, we're coming, shifting off one side and coming up and through and back around. So on here, I'm coming up and I'm coming across side to side. So it's like your cat and your cow, a little bit more up into the shoulders because we're moving side to side and then we sink down. So you'll do the same thing where you're sinking down between the shoulder blades and then you come up on one side and around and through. Take the time. We're going to reverse that, go the other way. Let's go one more time here. And then relaxing from there. We're going to sit back and we're coming face up on the floor. I'll have us done in just a few minutes. From here, gently rolling back and down. And we're going to bend the knees here. So let's move first into the bridge pulse. So we worked backwards. This time we're lifting from the bottom up. Squeeze. The glutes nice and strong from there. Relax and let this come back down. So again, it's just like you're peeling up a log chain, just one link at a time. Squeeze and hold at the top for a second, and then bring that back and down. This is an exercise, obviously, you could do every day. It's actually kind of good for us. It's just not the most exciting exercise to do, maybe. Hopefully it feels good, though. We're going to do just two more here. Excuse me. And one more time coming through here. And the same thing, we're still gripping the floor with those toes, right? They're getting lots of work today. Bend back into the middle. Now we're going to work on a piece here just for the abdominals. So we're going to move eventually into the dead bug. From here, we're going to start off with placing the hands onto the thighs. And all we're going to do, you can do this with your legs bent, you can do it with your knees up. The hands are still on the thighs, your elbows are down on the ground, you're going to push against those thighs, but don't let them go anywhere. And notice where you're really feeling this at, because you should feel it. It's a static movement, we're not going anywhere. The two places that are most common are the low back, which is not where I want you to feel it. The other is right across the midsection here, which is exactly where I want you to feel it. So if you're feeling that in your low back, take a slight readjustment in your pelvis, slightly tuck that. Press the belly button down like somebody's going to step on you. You don't want that to hurt. And then try that press again and see if you can get that to fire across the middle. Because that's what we're looking for. The exercises that we're going to do from here are going to work that area. So we want to make sure that they can fire. Squeeze and press. And if they don't, then two things. One is you can press your hands underneath your hips as we do the exercise, which will help a little bit, but also just adjusting your range of motion as you come into there. So we're going to start with the legs up from here, and we're just going to do a toe touch. So we're going to touch one toe down, be back to center, we'll touch the other toe down. So placing this nice and easy. You can also extend the leg, take one leg down, squeeze and come back to center. What we're trying to do here is knit those ribs together and make sure that we don't let the back pop up. So again, just like somebody stepping down on you. So if you extend that back up and all of a sudden you feel your chin pop up, slightly tuck that back again. And again, we don't need to touch the ground. You also can just go back and bend the knees, right? Let's go ahead and set these down. Taking the hands from up here. So our hands are going to be reaching towards the ceiling. We're going to take both hands back at the same time from here. And again, still knitting those ribs together so we don't let the back pop up. Everything stays smooth and in place except for your arms. And again, keeping the length through the neck. Now let's come back up, and for some reason this gets confusing. Sometimes we're going to take one arm over. The other arm is like it's just being pulled up towards the ceiling. So kind of like you're hanging from that arm. When you come back, you don't have to touch the floor, but you can. And then of course we're going to complicate it because we're going to put them together. So you can again start with those knees towards the ceiling, the hands toward the ceiling. So whatever leg is going to stay steady from here, let's just start with one leg at a time, it's just going to be anchored like you're, again, hanging from that. We're going to take the back arm and the front knee. So we're going to bring them both down and back to center. Let's just stay on that side. And of course, you can stay again with this position, or you can extend the leg out. Take that arm and that leg, squeeze back to center. And if you've got that, you can extend that leg, right? So there's many different versions you can do with it. Use the one that works for you today. Maybe different tomorrow. Let's go 4 more. This is called a dead bug, by the way. And our last one. Now we're again going to do the same thing on the other side, right? So if your knees are bent, you're going to still keep those bent. We're going to this time take the front arm and the back leg. So coming from here and back to center. Now when you come back with the knee, you want to be careful not to take that too far back. That's not something where we want to rock the pelvis. So we're not looking to bring that back towards the chest. We're looking to take it to the ceiling. And the same thing from here, if you want to extend, bring that out. You don't want to touch the floor with the leg. Doesn't matter so much with the arm. Ideally, just both are just hovering, right? You can also extend and anchor that leg towards the ceiling. If I'm counting correctly, we have another 4. Got to kind of keep an eye on me with that counting thing sometimes. There's 2. And our last one. And bring that back in. So now again, that's one of those things that if it's a bit too much for you with the legs up like that and you feel like you're cramping up through your hip flexors, slide the foot instead. That's a good place to start because either way, you're still going to be using those abs. So we're going to draw the knees into the chest. Again, keeping long length through the neck, slightly tuck the chin. And then we're very gently going to let these knees roll to one side. So we'll just go ahead and let those come down. We're going to take that top arm and we're going to bring that back. And we're going to open up that chest. Looking out over those fingertips, just relax that low back. You can take your top hand, I should say your other hand, and put it on top of that leg if you'd like. That way you can draw that closer to the shoulder. You can just add a little weight, make that stretch a little deeper, or you can leave it on the floor too. We're going to come back into the center. We're going to bring the knees to the other side. Same thing from here. We'll take this top arm over and we're going to reach back. Trying to open up that chest. Then we'll come back into the center from here. We're going to go ahead and come back into the middle. Slide this back up. Now, you can do this on the floor. You can stand up if you prefer to. We're going to go ahead and come forward from here. So just a nice, easy reach out for those toes. I'm going to slide down. See if we can get them. If we can't get them, it doesn't matter a bit. But we do want to kind of scoop out and keep ourselves tall through the middle there, hinging at the hip. And then very gently, we're going to go ahead and come back up. So from here, we're going to come back up any way that you're comfortable with, and we're going to stand back up. So if we can get there without having to use our hands, that's great. So from there, we're going to go ahead and roll those shoulders back. Very nice, big, exaggerated rolls from here. Relax your hands. Then we're going to come forward, so roll those shoulders forward. then let's take one forward and one back. And let's reverse that, go the other direction. And then roll both shoulders back. And relax in that position. We're going to tuck the chin toward the chest. Then let's lift that chin towards the ceiling. Coming back from here. And lift. And then back to the center. We're going to turn, we're going to look over that shoulder. Moving back the other direction, we're going to look back over that other shoulder. Moving back to center here, let's just tilt to one side. Keeping that shoulder down so we can get nice long length through the side of that neck. It gets really tight sometimes. Reverse the direction, come over here. A lot of times I don't even notice it until I do this. And then, whoa, you need that more than I realized. And then back to the middle from here. So we're going to tuck that chin and we're just going to roll shoulder to shoulder first. And if that's all good, we're going to go ahead and lead with that chin all the way around. Take your time. This is something that should actually feel good. If you're like me, you sound like a bowl of Rice Krispies. I'm going to reverse that and go the other direction. Again, move that with your breath. Big inhale as you come back and around. Exhale as you tuck it under. We're going to do one more time. And back to the middle here. Nice breath up. Exhale gently from there. One more for the road, all the way up here. Bring that back into center.